So now let's chat about what's going on with seedless vascular plants and their life cycle. So we're still going to see the same gametophyte and sporophyte, but these are going to look different. In the seedless vascular plants, these are now what we call Sporophyte Dominant. And what we mean by that is that the main life cycle stage of these seedless vascular plants is their sporophyte stage. That is the longer lived, more distinct life cycle stage, is their diploid sporophyte stage. Okay, so what does this look like? So let's start out again with the gametophyte. So the gametophyte in ferns and other seedless vascular plants kind of has like a weird heart shape to it. And there are structures on this gametophyte. Remember, again, this is the gametophyte, so this is the haploid stage. In ferns, we give this a special name. We call it a prothallus. So these are going to have structures on here called antheridia and archegonia that are going to produce eggs and sperm. The archegonia produce the eggs, the antheridia produce the sperm. Again, they're going to go through mitosis to produce sperm that can swim and eggs. Gametophyte makes gametes. It's haploid, so it goes through mitosis to make those gametes. In the ferns, the sperm swims to an egg. So it's going to swim to an egg, and it's going to fertilize the egg in place in that prothallus. So after fertilization, that fertilization occurs in basically inside that prothallus in that gametophyte. So those haploid sperm, that haploid egg, they fertilize. That creates our diploid sporophyte generation. So in the seedless vascular plants, the sporophyte generation is what you think about a fern, the fronds of the fern, that fronds are a technical term for the leaf of a fern. That is the diploid sporophyte generation. Okay, so those leaves of that fern, that frond of that fern, that is all diploid sporophyte tissue. And it is growing up and out of that location in the gametophyte, this prothallus down here. This sporophyte grows up and out of that gametophyte. This gametophyte typically shrivels or is kept underground, so we typically don't see the gametophyte. Even if we were to see it, a lot of times that prothallus is maybe the size of like our pinky fingernail, so it's pretty tiny. On the underside of a fern frond, if we were to flip this over, we would see kind of some like brownish structures lining the underside of it. Those brownish structures, those are what we call sori. And this is where we have meiosis happening. In those sori, we have meiosis. That meiosis creates haploid spores. Those haploid spores are then dispersed through wind, sometimes through water, and they grow through mitosis into that gametophyte, that prothallus stage. And then the whole thing starts over again. But the important thing to know is that we don't have any seeds here. Again, we're talking about seedless vascular. There's no seeds here. And in these ferns, same thing as mosses, the sperm have to swim to the egg. So they require a lot of water. So these species require water for the sperm to swim to the egg. All right, so sporophyte is the diploid stage. The structures in the fern that create the spores through meiosis are called sori. Those spores are haploid. Those spores will then go through mitosis. Those haploid spores go through mitosis till they create the prothallus. The prothallus is the gametophyte that will go through mitosis to create the sperm and egg, the gametes. Those fuse, and then we get back to the sporophyte stage.